What's up, you crazy cat and kittens? This is Eddie with the Staying Insane podcast. Tonight we talk a little bit inspirations and stuff like that, as the boys are exasperated with me right now. But we talk about inspirations, how we think of the things we think of, and why we do the things we do. So, if you like it, stick around and listen to us bullshit for like an hour. So, thanks. My dudes, how are you doing tonight?
I'm okay. How are you guys doing?
Adam?
Okay.
Okay.
Very strained, good, but good. I'm alright. It's been a weird day for me. I also forgot to wear sunscreen at work, so I feel the sunburn hitting in. So I know that's gonna hurt tomorrow.
Yep.
But that's my own damn fault. So, tonight's kind of a low vibe kind of night for me. I don't know about you two. So I want to kind of tie into what we do as people and in our lives. Obviously, all of us are creators or makers or artists of some sort. So I want to talk about where you guys draw your inspiration from. First, I want to go with your hobbies, and then the second part of it, I want to talk about D&D campaigns, or D&D in general, why you think of the characters you think of and stuff like that. So let's start off with the hobbies that we do.
So I've talked about this before. I do 3D printing as a hobby. I do, puzzle solving as a hobby. I do, model building as another hobby. I play a little guitar. I do a lot of different things, but I think a lot of my stuff is very, mechanically inclined, I guess.
Okay.
I do a lot of things with my hands, I guess I should say.
I know.
God damn it.
I didn't make it this time.
Yeah, thanks. I build stuff. I make things. I'm not like your classical maker. Like, I don't go out and just decide I'm gonna build this thing from scratch. But I do. I guess I could say I'm a modeler more than a maker.
Cool. Will you please move?
I don't know. Are you looking for anything in particular from this question? Like just about our hobbies, or just just what we do?
Kind of why you do what you do, almost.
Okay.
Is there anything something that's set it off to that's why you picked that thing to do with your free time? Because as we all know, time is one of the precious resources we can never get back.
Right. I think at least the modeling thing goes back to when I was a kid. A lot of the time my family would buy models or whatever. When I was a little kid, really young, I had Legos, obviously. What kid didn't?
Yeah.
And then Bionicles were a thing when I was 10. They got really, really big. So yeah. Those are a little different. So I think I kind of got it more into a model-esque rather than just Legos.
Okay.
And then I had a couple of the sprue kit models that you put together. You cut the plastic pieces or twist them off of the large plastic square or whatever. That's a sprue. It's what it's referred to as. I got into those when I was a little older. If you guys remember the show Zoids.
No, I do not.
It's a really early 2000s show. Basically, they were big robot animals that people climbed in and fought with and stuff. And they made
Power Rangers.
No. They didn't come together or do anything wonky that I remember, at least. But that was my first push into real models, I guess you could say. Models that are intended to be put together and then just maybe put on a shelf or whatever.
Displayed.
Yeah, exactly. And now I do the Metal Earths, The little metal. I've showed them off on the show before. I don't have anything sitting right here.
Yeah.
Like the little metal bend and twist little models you can make. I think that's kind of where that comes from.
Okay.
Like a childhood thing that's rearing its ugly head as I become a middle 20-year-old.
Middle 20-year-old.
I don't know how to describe it. Like, I'm in my mid-20s, you know, like...
And an adult.
Yeah, I don't really agree with that term for myself, but,
To the day I die, I would say I'm just a large man child. That's all I am. I'm not an adult. I'm just a guy that pays bills.
And I definitely feel that because I became an adult, got some money, and then realized how much stuff costs, and hated it. And then once I finally got a job where I like made more than just barely enough to get by, gesundheit. Once I finally got a job and with enough money to make more than just getting by, I was able to, indulge in my hobbies like Power Ranger stuff.
Yeah,
I think I've talked about that too.
I was actually watching that episode earlier.
Oh, were you? Okay.
Right before I had my nosebleed.
Oh,
So.
that was great.
Yeah.
I think that's really kind of where my stuff comes from. I don't really have much more to say about my stuff.
Okay. My little adopted one.
I think I just do stuff to please other people.
Okay. I mean, it's not a bad trait, but
Yeah, I don't know if I ever really do stuff because I want to. I don't know. It's so weird, but it's just like one of those things I'm really thinking about at this exact second. I'm like, do I do stuff for me, or do I do stuff because I know it'll make other people happy, and that's what makes me happy?
well, you did
It's
the
like-
whale.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But that was like for a surprise for someone for Christmas.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, it's still here and it's in my room, and I didn't like give it away, but like it was part of something that was like a song that this person and I listened to a lot. And then like at Christmas time, I like set up all their gifts in here and made like this huge thing, like all the lights and stuff, and there was a smoke machine, and I was like playing the song, and there are candles everywhere and stuff. It was pretty lit, literally. And I don't know. Whenever I do art, I usually have people in mind. I'm never just like, I'm gonna do art and hang it up in my room.
Okay. I can understand that.
Like, well, why is your whole wall painted? Why do you have lights up? My whole wall was painted because I used to make music videos for people's birthdays. And it was always the Coldplay songs because there's no other music in the world. So that, and then I would just get a music video and be like, here, who doesn't want a music video for their birthday? Everybody. I'd do that and then give it to them. Yeah.
Okay.
Saying I sound cuckoo? Is that
No.
what that was, Jeremy? No. Yeah, so I don't know, because like I always do art and then give it away. Like I don't have much of my own art left unless it was returned.
Okay.
Like an ex.
Okay. So what you're kind of saying is where you pull your inspirations from is from the person that you are doing the art for.
Yeah, kind of. Even like YouTube, I never think of it as like I'm doing this for me. It's just more of like I'm thinking of the people who will see it.
Okay.
Like it doesn't bother me.
Which isn't
Like
a bad thing.
I
that's
don't
a
want
great,
people to think
great
like,
trait to have.
oh, like I'm unhappy. I mean, everybody's unhappy sometimes, but like it's not even that. It's just like even like if it's like, hey, want to get on tonight? It's never like I just want to get on to play. Really, it's always like other people want me to get on, so then I get on because I don't really have fun like just by myself. I never really get on to just play by myself without recording or something.
Okay.
Unless
enough.
it's like or a grind so that, oh, next time I get on with Eddie and Jeremy, I'll have this new ship. And be like, whoa, did a lot. It's never like, I'm going to do it because I want a new ship. But, you know, like, I don't know. That's really weird to even explain. But I think that's really probably where most of it comes from.
Adam, you were also talking about No Man's Sky when you were talking about a new ship.
Oh, yeah.
That could have been taken really weirdly. No Man's Sky is a space game, and he had a new spaceship.
We were going to record it, but then we were like, nah, let's just vibe.
Let's just have a game that's just for us and not have to worry about... Yeah.
You know, and that's a question that I've had for a lot of like bigger streamers. But since I have someone that is like a content creator in a way, are there any games that like you try to reserve for yourself?
No,
not
anymore. Subnautica was a game I always just wanted to play for myself because I thought it was awesome, and then now it's just become... I mean, I get what you mean, but really, like, when a good game like that comes around, that I'd be, like, super hyped and super excited about, it's like, oh, well, I'd have to make this content because I'm, like, super into it and have really wanted to play it.
Okay.
Like, there's the games like that I kind of feel like you have to do at least a little bit to kind of be like, oh, here's the thing. Minecraft Dungeons, I was interested to try, but it was also, like, I feel like I kind of have to because I've dabbled in regular Minecraft. This is a new thing coming out. It's another opportunity to do something that people might like to see. Also, for a while there, like, Fortnite was getting way more views than anything. I wasn't super into Fortnite for a little bit. Like, you know, I take breaks from it. I don't have anything against the game, but like, for a while there, I was like, I don't really feel like playing it, but like, it's getting like 30 more views than everything else, so...
Okay.
Yeah, no, I get what you mean. I guess No Man's Sky is kind of what that was.
Okay, which makes sense.
Like, because you really have to have a lot of time aside. Like, I know, like, when people hear, like, I'm busy, and they'll be like, oh, yeah, I guarantee I'm busy here. Probably, but, like, to record gaming, you have to have, like, an extra, like, 8 hours set aside for a video. It's like 3-4 hours of recording, 3-4 hours of editing and exporting and uploading. It's like...
I mean, you don't want to
can't just...
raw
yeah.
video of it and stuff like that, because I mean,
yeah, when I put stuff up, I want it to be good.
When you and I did Astroneer for the first time, we recorded for like 6 hours. Well, we were on for like 6 hours, but you ended up recording like 4 or something like that. So
you're right. Yeah, there's a lot to it. Like, I don't know, it's hard to explain if you've never done it yourself, but like, you guys kind of get it because we've done a decent bit of it, or like you've been involved in like me talking about it, but. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard if you're gonna do gaming stuff. If you have another full-time job to really fit in like 8 hours again, like streaming, I could do. Like, I'm not too busy to stream. I just also want it to be good and want to keep up with both. Like, and also the internet thing becomes an issue very quickly too. Like, yeah, I am paying for more, but it still is just like
not nearly.
I want it to be good.
You.
Yeah, it's just...
You are out in the boonies, so...
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to be out here making excuses I like to do, but a lot of it is, like, I want it to be good for other people. Like, I could put stuff up, because then again, I wouldn't even feel happy with it if I was just putting stuff out. If I was just like, here.
Well, and that's you making sure your brand is set to a certain standard, which is 100% fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I do the same thing with my woodworking. Is if I don't like something, if I'm almost done with a project and there's something I don't like about it, I'll throw the whole fucking thing away. I don't care. I just spent 29 hours working on that. I'm like, I don't like this. This isn't going out. This is going in the trash.
This is dumb. Bye. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's totally what I'm doing. It's like, there might be people like, oh, I just think you should go for it. Like, yeah, I agree in a way, but also, I don't want to just go for it in a shitty way. But to like go for it in a good, well thought out, well planned way.
Well, even with this podcast, I mean, we all started off with like basic bitch mics, except for Jeremy, obviously, but like basic bitch mics. And like the first couple episodes for new mics, they were rough.
Yeah,
for sure. They were pretty rough. So I mean, we have decent gear now. Obviously, we can get better stuff, but those cost a couple $100. So
Disc golf. I disc golf for myself. I don't disc golf for anybody else.
There you go.
that's good.
I guess that's a hobby I do that I like, and I'm not doing it. Though I do feel a lot of pressure from just being with friends sometimes. Like, with how much
just
I
to
go.
be good. Almost.
Yeah, like, with how much I go, I feel like I have to live up to a standard. Especially if it's like with Tyler and them, I know they can see me do bad things, and then I'll be like, well, I'm going to do something great here in a second to make up for it. I feel a lot of pressure to make Ty proud in disc golf. Then,
Okay.
like, if it's, like, out with, like, you and Will, I'd be like, okay, they know I've been out, like, twice a week for a long time now. I have to be, like, at a certain standard of good right now. Because if I
Nah.
just come out and they're like, and they just crush me, I'm gonna look like an idiot. They're gonna be like, what the fuck do you do twice a week? Just stick around? He's not disc golfing. I don't know. But in a certain way, like, I like that. Because I never played sports as a kid, so, like, holding myself to a certain standard and, like, wanting to constantly do better, that's, like, what sports like that are about. Because I never
mean,
go
that
out
is
trying to do
competition.
better than Tyler or anyone.
Yeah.
It's literally just you're competing with yourself, and you're also, like, cheering each other on in a weird way. Which I also like. You're not shitting on everyone else like you could do in football or basketball, and it could get toxic. Never once have I really had a toxic round of disc golf where I've been, like, elbow to elbow, like, trying to beat other people. It's just like, I'm just trying to beat me.
Next time we go out, I'll make sure that gets changed. Every
Every
time
time
I
I
do
go
a
through, I'm
good,
just like,
like, that was dog shit. You're trash. Get off the court.
stupid putt, get out! Yeah. All right, well, remind me not to go with you. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, so I guess that's one thing. I don't know. I'm struggling with this one. Like, I really have never felt like I've had purpose behind things other than I want to make other people happy and, like, leave a mark, you know?
Okay.
For, like, an internal myself thing, really, that much.
Okay.
Just like you said, I don't know if it's a bad thing. It's not really
Oh, no,
bad.
it's not a bad trait whatsoever. It's just a very rare trait and can be overtaken. What's the word I'm looking for? Misused. Still not the word I'm looking for.
Misguided.
Taken for granted. That's what it was.
Oh,
That was
yeah,
the phrase I
probably.
was looking for. And the reason I know that is because my sister is like that a lot, and she's
Dude.
always looking out for everyone else except her. And a lot of times I feel like she gets taken advantage of, especially at work and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's just something I'm constantly aware of. I'm not saying like I'm the best person, but I try to be a decent person. So.
Coolest person that's ever existed. I think everybody who listens to the podcast knows.
So, but yeah, it's not a
yeah, I
bad
get what
trait
you mean.
whatsoever. So, but
It's a weird one.
yeah, I mean everything we do is weird. So,
That's not true.
Example, please.
What about you? I'm good.
So for me, my hobbies, woodworking and stuff like that. A lot of times I want to build a project because I see something online. Pinterest is like a lot of things where like that's pretty cool. I could probably make something like that. And then also I think I've talked about my love for Japanese culture before.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
Yeah.
in particular their architecture. That style and their woodworking techniques are just amazing to me because I've always grown up with power tools and doing as little amounts of hand tool work as possible. So you were gonna make a dirty joke, weren't you, Adam? I saw that smirk.
I just like the phrase. To do as little hand work as possible. That's it. It's just good.
Oh god.
But like when it comes to like the little bit of art and stuff I do, a lot of times it's for a purpose. Most times it's technically not for me, but also for me it's a weird way. Like for example, this is gonna dip into D&D a little bit, but last week I spent, actually after D&D we had at your house on Saturday, Jeremy. I spent like 4 hours on Hero Forge, kind of getting a rough draft of the mini I want to create. The one I want to make for an adventure that I want to have you guys go along on, and it's gonna be pretty freaking gnarly, my dudes.
Okay.
So,
should we preemptively design things, or
give me a little more time to flesh some things out, and then I'll be like, yes.
okay?
So,
All right,
Flesh or flush?
both.
All right, that's good.
So that's kind of where I take my stuff from. That and my dad used to get this. I don't know if they're still around, but they were red books that were woodworking, like manuals almost, but not quite manuals.
Handbooks.
I guess handbooks would probably be it. He used to have them. I don't know if he still does, but I used to look at those a lot, and like they'd have project details and stuff in there, and all that kind of stuff. So. A lot of my earlier stuff, more simple stuff, came from that because I would look up stuff I could do with the tools I had. So
Right.
So on the second part of that conversation is, so we've all been DMs before. Jeremy is still being DM'd for the first time. I want to know where you guys kind of drew the inspiration for the campaign or the overall story. I mean, obviously, Jeremy, you don't have to. Anybody doesn't have to do any spoilers or anything like that. But like, where'd you?
All spoilers.
Yeah, all spoilers. I want to know every single detail. But where did you kind of draw your inspiration for that? And if you want, make a quick synopsis of the story so far, if you want to do that for the viewers. You don't have to if you don't want to. So.
Okay. So in my campaign right now, basically the general gist of what the guys have figured out so far is that there are good beings and bad beings, and there was an ancient war, they fought, and both sides were trapped in other dimensions. And they're currently in the midst of figuring out what happened then, by trying to basically find keys to get them out of said dimensions. So I kind of drew inspiration from like so I drew a little bit from the story behind Skyrim, and if you haven't played Skyrim, too bad, there's spoilers. You've had way too much time to play it.
Oh my god.
I mean, it's been out for what, 12 years or something?
So,
like that
2008, yeah. Basically, there's a good dragon and there's a bad dragon, and they fight. So I kind of took inspiration from that a little bit, but I also kind of I've been watching a lot of psychological shows lately, like drama thriller kind of shows, I guess you could call them.
Office.
No. I've been watching like Hannibal. It's a live action show about like Hannibal Lecter and stuff.
My hero.
I don't want to talk.
And some other shows, some other good ones. Like I rewatched Death Note recently.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's an anime. Adam.
Of course.
But I've watched a lot of like psychological shows lately, so I kind of wanted to pull a little bit from that as well. I wanted to have this like this draw to the story where it's like two sides oppose each other, but you never get the full story from either side. So there's
always
this,
that air of mystery,
right? So
around.
There's like are they really the good guys, or are they really the bad guys, or is it vice versa? Where's the, where's the
tension.
truth? Where do you like stop reading between the lines, and where do you read between the lines? That kind of thing. William actually during one session had a really good quote that I will say now. Those who win the battles rewrite the history books, which I really liked when he said, because he kind of like fleshed out what I was getting at a little bit in one of the sessions, which was good. I really liked that. Yeah, well, that's just kind of the mentality I have behind this story, at least. Like, you know, the wishy-washiness that you like really don't get to decide until the end when you have all the information laid out in front of you. So that's kind of where I've taken the story for my first campaign. Obviously, next time it might be completely different. It might just be like, hey, go kill this guy. And you've got trials to get there, like, I don't know, like Hercules. You know, you've got trials to overcome to get to your next location, or it might be something like Odysseus, like in the Odyssey, where he's just got to fucking hop all over the place, and you never know what you're gonna find next.
Yeah.
So who knows what I have in store next time? Because I don't know either.
Okay.
But that's kind of where I've pulled a lot of stuff. Speaking of which, do you guys have any questions about the campaign?
No. All my questions are being
like
dealt with in game.
Okay.
And especially with the next section of things I want to do, because William and I were talking about on the way home that night. So we weren't telling anything in particular, but just like what the hell should we do next? So but it was because car ride home, it was in the truck with me. So, but
what do you think, Adam?
Your campaign?
No. About your campaign, because I was not involved in it. So
yeah, honestly, I was also. We didn't get very far, but the story as it was being built was still pretty good. So I want to know. And then also, you had a Star Wars campaign that you had drawn up too. Where'd you kind of pull? I mean, obviously that one probably pulled from Star Wars itself, but like, any certain like plot points or anything that you wanted that we were gonna explore that you kind of pulled from someplace else, or anything like that? So
I kind of think of it always like, I mean, I guess a lot of it came from Critical Role. Is like, Matt Mercer did a lot of stuff. Was like, I didn't try to go off that, just like how in depth and like insane all of his stuff that just made it fun, even if you weren't like playing it. You know, how popular they got just from listening to it. It was like, oh, wow, like, you know, that has to be some insanely good storylines and stuff. It's just like, what would be the coolest possible thing, or like the biggest like, oh my god, we're idiots, or the biggest like, holy crap, I didn't see that happening, or like, what, again, just, it was never like, what would I think would be cool? It was always like, what is going to be the coolest experience for everyone playing it?
Okay.
Just like, you know, like, I would be like, what would be, if I was playing, like, what would be just insane if Eddie one day was like, and then this happens, and I'd be like, oh! You know, like, just like, you know, I never, I DM'd, like, probably the least out of everybody's, because even Trace's, we did, like, sessions.
No, we did, like, 3 or 4 sessions of yours.
Don't look at me for answers.
Me? What do you think?
I wasn't there.
I don't know. We did it. We did it. I don't know. I thought we only did the one, but
I know we did at least 2 for sure.
Okay, yeah, 2. Yeah, probably about 2. 15. We'll go with 15.
15 sounds good.
yeah, 25. Yeah, no, but I guess it was just a lot of that, like, just would be the coolest possible thing to happen right here, and then like make it all fit together so it makes sense. So nothing ever feels like, oh, well, what the, like, that was just randomly thrown in there just as like a cool thing, you know? It was just like always like, oh, okay, that I get why so and so would do that, or why that would happen. And then like I made it to like tried to be stupid details, so no matter how many weird tangents William decided to go on, that it would always still kind of like fit back together somehow. Yeah. You know, I mean, like, everybody goes on weird tangents, but William is like the guy who tries to seek them out. He's like, what would be the weirdest, stupidest thing to do right now? I'm doing it.
I will let you know, William, my brother, what a lovable oaf he is, but he's one of those people, and I swear to God, this is 100% true, because I walked in on him doing it. He got bored and started reading the dictionary. So he
He's a
always
weird guy.
try to think of the weirdest shit possible. And it's
Nice though. It's refreshing. Just
I mean,
also could be
when
All
you
the
only
time,
see him,
though?
I
All the
was gonna say
time?
when you only see him a few times a week, yeah, it's refreshing. But when
When you
when
live
he
with
lives
the
in your
guy?
house, it's a little something else. Not refreshing, aggravating is probably the word I'm looking for. So,
Oh, he's great.
but your Star Wars one, where'd you pull that one from? Like,
That was just a lot of like, well, when you're a fan of something for so long, and that has like a universe. Not like I was just creating random stuff of my own. I was going off of something that exists, and I was thinking like, how could I continue the story like where it is right now? Like, what would make sense to happen next? And then what would be all the cool things that I would love to see as a Star Wars fan? So I guess that one was more toward like me, because I consider myself knowing probably the most about Star Wars out of the group that it was then. That I was like, you know, what would be like insane if it would happen, and like if they made a movie about it or something, I'd be like, oh yeah, you know, like, and also try to fit in the like Star Wars like familiarity, so it's not just all random new stuff that just happens to be, you know, with
In
the
the
label
universe.
Star Wars on it. Yeah,
Okay.
but stuff that it's like, oh yeah, like, oh, this is a very Star Warsy feel, like vibe, like things, kind of what they did with the Force Awakens, where they're like, it was like kind of the same exact story, just with different people and different like things were changed,
okay,
not to that quite degree, you know, stuff that made it feel like things that had happened, kind of, but not to the, like a huge level, just kind of like certain battles that had similar things happen that were like, ooh, yeah, that's a very Star Wars type-esque thing to happen, or, you know, stuff like that.
Okay, so it wasn't like the same jump that they made between like the original trilogy to the prequels.
Yeah,
Like
no,
that-
it wasn't gonna.
Okay.
No, yeah, it was a complete new thing, but also just tried to get the same vibes in, not just like a planet you've never heard of.
Gotcha.
Like, I would
It
throw
was-
in familiar like names and stuff here and there when I could, so you could still be like, oh yeah,
like
it
like
wasn't just all
Tatooine
random
or
like,
something.
yeah,
Okay.
stuff like that. Yeah,
freezing our ass on a Hoth.
yeah,
Oh.
right, yeah.
So, all right. So
By you,
for me, the main campaign that I've had Jeremy and Adam and the rest of the boys in, it kind of started because one day I was like, I want to know more about DMing, so I read the Dungeon Master's Guide, which is one of the books you can buy and stuff like that. And it said something in there about pantheons. And Jeremy has it. He's going to get it, and he should still be able to hear us because he has a new pair of wireless headphones, which is pretty sick. But in there it said about pantheons, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And I was looking at the different ones they had, and then I was watching a video on YouTube the same night, and it said, what if the gods just didn't exist? And I'm like, that's a pretty cool fucking idea. Yeah, DMG. So I created the story behind it, and stuff like that. Very ancient war. Good gods fight bad gods. The good gods, like, everyone's dying. They're getting killed because of this war. Let's just poof everyone off this plane. So that's how my story started. I put a lot of effort into a lot of different aspects that ended up not being used. So I had to kind of morph some of my focuses a little bit. So, but
that's
I-
part
I-
of DMing though. That's
yeah,
like
that's what I
that's
was
so
gonna say.
like
absolutely.
like I have pages and
DMing.
pages and pages from 5 sessions with you guys that I haven't used. Like
Right.
I would wager a guess at like 50% of what I have written you guys have not dealt with.
Yeah. It's just one of those things is because you're playing with other people, you never know what that other person's going to do. It's the unpredictability factor of the players that makes DMing the hardest, a hard job. Because like
A fun one.
with Jeremy's campaign, we could have said, "Nah, dog, I want to go home. I gotta go fishing tomorrow." And then he's like, "Oh, okay, and you go ahead back home, I guess. I mean, there's nothing really stopping you, I guess." until I make the world end. So, but that's kind of where I pulled my inspiration for my campaign from. And then the other one shots I've had, I've like the Thunder Gnome. That was just Thunder Gnome and no, you were. It was just
I?
yeah, it was the one Tyler played in also for like a session
Oh
or two.
yeah, okay. Yeah.
That one was like, I want to
Yeah.
make something really cool in the world I already have, and I want these guys to do some crazy shit. And that was about it. So, but and the thing is, I don't read a lot, so like I'm not a nerd. I don't read, so books are weird.
All right.
I also
I
have
don't read
dyslexia, so reading gets a little hard for me
Yeah,
sometimes.
makes reading fun.
Tons of fun. So, but so I don't pull from like Tolkien and them, and like all the fantasy writers and stuff like that. So, I guess the main point I wanted to say is I kind of wanted to break the barrier, because like it's always been like an unwritten rule in D&D that the gods were there. Gods are always there. They're watching over. And I was like, but what if they're not there, but also still there? So.
Oh, you're one of those people.
Yeah, I'm an asshole. But. So. Another. Oh, I lost my camera and my focus. Nice. Sorry, my hands are very dirty.
Camera on my focus. Got it.
Lost my camera on my focus.
It's been a long
it's all
week
good,
for me.
buddy.
Guys, my camera on my focus.
It's Friday night. It's 8 o'clock at night. It's all right. You're having a time, and that's perfectly okay.
So the next thing I want to talk about is fuck you. Is what inspired you to go into the job field that you are in now? I think we talked about this a little bit before, but like for you, Jeremy, what made you go into chemistry?
Not chemistry.
Physics. Yeah, that thing. Physics. I'm gonna turn my camera off and back on.
Okay. We're playing musical spaces
there
on the camera or on the screen. That's great.
Love it.
So I've talked about this before. My interest in knowing how the world works, it was like the biggest factor in why I ended up being a physicist. Because, well, I'll start at the beginning. Originally, I was going to be a teacher. You know, pretty straightforward job path. You know, you go to college, you get your degree, blah, blah, blah. You go teach school. That was going to be my job. And then I changed my major 2 more times. Yeah. 2 more times. I changed to engineering. And then I changed to physics straight instead of the engineering route I was going to take. And I was always like kind of on the same path, because before I was going to be... 3 times. I was wrong. I was a math teacher, the math ed major, then I was a physics ed major, and then I was engineering, and then I was physics. So my path kind of took... It was on a straight line for a while, and then it kind of veered, and then it just really went off the rails. And
As is life.
You're telling me.
Whoa!
But
Jesus.
I don't have like a super pinpoint answer to why I chose the field I did. I mean, my whole life I've always been interested in, knowing why things work or how they work in certain ways. So, I rebuilt a car with my dad when I was 16. That was, well, we have gotten rid of it since, which I'm slightly sad about. But, I wanted to know how cars work, so I could fix a car if I needed to. I just kicked my cat by accident. Shit. Sorry, Sophie.
Just don't pull an Alinity and throw it.
No, she's
God.
She's laying at my feet. But I've always wanted to learn how things work and know why they work the way they do, and that kind of is what drove me towards engineering, really.
Okay.
And it was just circumstance that I didn't do the engineering. I did the physics instead, which was a difference of 1 or 2 classes. at my university, but then it was a whole nother year at University of Pittsburgh, part of their co-op programs, and I didn't have the capital to pay for a whole year at University of Pittsburgh, which is a lot. But yeah, so I just ended up taking the physics degree instead of the co-op engineering thing. So
Okay.
that's kind of where I went into. And my last job was just happenstance. I was working at Staples, like I've talked about before, and I ran into this guy. He came in and needed a computer for a job he was doing, and I got to talking to him about it, and he offered me a job. So I ended up working there for up until disaster
COVID
happened. But that is
What happened?
I lost my job, Adam.
Oh. Why? Something going on?
Everyone's buying
for all of
Corona.
us.
Everyone's buying Corona. That's what happened.
Yep, we ran out of toilet paper and the world ended.
Maybe it did. Anyway, before I get off to a tangent on that, continue with the topic.
That's really it. I don't really have any other reasons why I picked the field I picked. It wasn't like I loved astronomy my whole life and decided to be an astrophysicist.
Okay.
I like astronomy and all that, and I also like particle physics, and I don't know, thermodynamics is interesting too. Like all these different topics within this broad field that I have undertaken, but I never wanted to be an astroneer my whole life and decided to be an astrophysicist so I could be
Okay.
one. Astrophysicist. Couldn't say that word. But yeah, I don't know. It was just kind of circumstances how I wound up to where I am.
Okay, fair enough. So, Adam, when I ask about your career path, I'm talking more of your YouTube.
I just
and
wanted to
streaming
feel like
side.
shit all the time. Oh! Thought you meant me carrying beer for people. Really mean. Just make a mark. I've definitely talked about this before and said a bunch of stuff, but making as much of a difference and proving to myself that I could do something that is, I don't want to say worthy. That sounds really toxic to something that really will do something in the world, like really make a difference and really change things.
Well, they say
Really leave a mark.
you want to be the change you want to see. So
Yeah. So I want to just make the world better for everybody in general, especially recently, because it was not great, and also, and it's never really been great. I think there's ever a time where our world was like, hey, everything's good.
hey,
Probably
we're all
never
Gucci
will be.
here.
Yeah, there probably never will be. That might be shooting a little high for britches, or anybody's britches, or the world's britches. Do you
Jeremy,
think the
it's
world
hard
wears
for-
britches? If so,
Yeah.
how does the world wear britches? No,
A lot
I don't
of
know where I'm
fire.
going.
We're not sponsored yet. Don't show it.
Tums.
Prilosec.
Right.
Get heartburn, consume Prilosec. I don't know. Could just make a difference, make people happy, change people's thoughts or lives. Not thoughts. I don't want to control people.
No,
I want to.
control them.
I want to make an army. No.
Herd the sheeple. Herd the sheeple well.
No.
Sheeple.
No. All right. Leave it cold. Leave it cold. No. You know what I mean? Just change things.
Okay.
Have the ability to make
All right.
things better.
All right, bud. I can understand that.
Huh.
So
Yeah, we've talked about that before, like the ability
Yeah.
to make an impact on someone, as little as it could be, or even if it's just giving them a laugh on a hard day. I think that's what you've aimed for.
Right.
Hey, you did unmute, right?
Yes.
Okay, double checking.
I've been good this episode. I haven't flopped up.
Yeah.
Who knows? I might do it
Or make it
soon.
just sure. Oh gosh.
Ay. What about you, Eddie? Why you? Why your things?
Just like giving the world water.
Yeah, I love just dishing out water. I just take a hose and put it in someone's house. So, no, funny enough, I actually, like, in high school, my goal wasn't to be a water guy. In fact, I didn't even know that, like, the water company I work for existed. So, for high school, I wanted to be a carpenter. I always loved, ever since I was young, I've always loved building, especially with like mechanical stuff, taking things apart and trying to put them back together the same way. That way I didn't fucking break it. So I was always kind of on my way to kind of do something in that sort of path. But I was supposed to be a carpenter, and I don't know if I think I've said this before, but I decided I didn't want to be a carpenter about 15 days before I was supposed to start being a carpenter. I had this job I have now. It was a part-time job between the end of school and when I started at the union. And I just really enjoyed how much free time I had, because it was 2 minutes from the house I was living at to work. So, I mean, that alone in itself was great. And I mean, I was getting paid minimum wage when I first started off, but I was fresh out of high school. I didn't have a job, like a really like steady job before that. So, I mean, I got 32 hours. It was 2 minutes from work. I was making $400 every 2 weeks. I think it was like 400, 500. So, I mean, to me, at 18 years old, I was raking in what they called that cash money. I didn't say the children this time. I just said what they call
the children.
As the kids say, cash money.
There we go. And it kind of evolved into the comfortability I had with the people I work with, and also how much room I had to grow and expand in this field, because the field I work in is mainly dominated by older people, especially people that have already retired and are doing part-time jobs and stuff like that. I think I've told the story before. I went to a class, and I was the youngest one there easily by 15 years. So it was just I felt like I had more room to grow in the current field I'm in now than I did as a carpenter. So I would have been making more money as a carpenter, that's for sure.
But how much of that would you have lost on travel times and all that noise?
Yeah, because my union hall is 2 hours from where I live now.
Yeah.
So, and
Crap.
So
it would have been a 2-hour drive for the first week of being in the union every day, one way. So
yeah, that's no fun.
Fun.
Yeah. And luckily I didn't do that, because the car I had bought with the money I made from the part-time job, which was the job I'm at now, broke down in January of that next year. So
Oh yeah.
that was
Nice.
a lot of fun.
I remember that.
Yeah, the Lumina. It was a decent car. It wasn't anything to hoot and holler about, but
It was a
It was an
car.
Audi.
It got you from A to B.
A to B. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's like me with my
Yeah,
little Ford
wait.
Focus I had.
yeah, that's still sitting outside your apartment.
Yeah, that doesn't drive.
Beautiful.
So, but that's kind of what got
Gonna
me
get
in
a
this.
suit about that thing.
Probably. I'm honestly surprised. Yeah. I mean, then again, the pedo van sat outside your dad's house for how long?
Oh, I don't even know.
7 years?
7
Something like-
years, something, yeah.
Call it a pedo van.
Oh,
Well,
dude,
it was just a big van. It had windows and everything, but it was just easier to call it the pedo van.
It was one of those white Ford Econolines that contractors use and shit, like that normally don't have any
Oh, a
windows
pedo
on.
van.
Yeah, basically. It was nice inside. It had like little curtains and stuff on the windows. It was cool. That's how I learned to drive, actually.
Yeah, with that fucking
big
tank.
ass van
I actually
with
wouldn't
rear
mind
wheel
driving
drive.
some, because it's nice. You can sleep in it.
Yeah, the back seat folded down into a little bed. It was the people who owned it actually before us. They never used any of the back seats before we got it. They hauled around Great Danes in that thing. Like they had show dogs. They had Great Dane show dogs, and they'd haul 3 or 4 of them in the back of that.
That's a weird story, but
yeah, well, I mean that's what happened. That's
yeah, no, that's just like so crazy.
Yeah,
especially for around here.
Yeah, well, it wasn't around here. It was down close to the border of Pennsylvania and Maryland.
Yeah.
We border Maryland, right?
I think so. I was never really
gonna say yes.
They're
geography buff.
They're from like an hour south of Pittsburgh, like Uniontown.
Oh yeah, then
around there. I don't know any other big cities down there. That's the big one I know.
My brain hurts.
Same, brother.
But that's where we got it from. And
Man,
yeah,
I'm a little upset. I don't know what we border, because like I think
it's Maryland. Yeah, because yeah,
it's Maryland. It's Maryland. We also border West Virginia, but that's like a small corner.
Yeah, it was definitely Maryland. It was like it's way down there. It was like a half hour south of Uniontown, so it was like way right close to the border.
Okay, so. Yeah, I mean, that thing sat there for 7 years before the borough said anything about it. So, who knows how long that the focus can sit before they say anything?
It's only a few months out of inspection. It ended in like March or April.
God.
So,
oh no.
Well, I mean, it's I could go get it inspected tomorrow. You know, it'd be fine. The battery's dead as shit.
Which is to happen.
Yeah. But other than that, if I jump started, I'm sure it'd go.
Which my battery in my truck died the other day. I was at a dig, and apparently leaving my strobe on killed it. So
how long did you have your strobe on?
I mean, I was only at the dig site for like, we started at like 8:30, and I was done at 10:30, so it was only on for like 2 hours. And like halfway in between, they had to move my truck.
Your alternator might be bad.
It's okay.
I hope not.
My car dies in like half an hour if I don't have the engine on.
Yeah, I didn't have the engine on, so it was just sitting there. So
yeah, that's what I mean. I died like 5 minutes away from my house after like half an hour.
I wonder why you'd be 5 minutes away from your house with your car on idle, or not on at all.
That's my. Go.
Caught in a trap there.
Go to bed.
Adam. All right.
Actually, I was gonna call the episode there anyways. Anything else from you two gentlemen?
I don't really have anything too crazy. I don't think, at least. Merch is up in the air now. It's seeming to be that the show is steadily decreasing. Just in total views and total watch time and all that sort of stuff. So if you guys
tell your friend,
if you guys have made it this far and like are interested in like seeing us continue this show, we're probably still gonna do it just for us to get together, talk, and BS for an hour. And it'll probably just be for us, because who knows, maybe if we do this and have 100 episodes, someone will catch on and all of a sudden it'll catch like wildfire, because the internet's weird. But like, this is like, sincerely, like, if you want us to really, really continue this and like put some money into this show, like, maybe make a set and have us sit down and talk like coffee table style, or maybe bar style, like sit behind bar stools and stuff like that. Like, let us know, because then we'll put some money into the show. But otherwise, it might be more of the same from here on out. Do you have something to say there, Adam?
Oh, I was just chewing loudly.
Okay. I thought you were like gonna undo your mic to say something. Okay. All right. Well,
I have my strobe on.
Your strobes. Don't kill your truck.
Yeah. It's a real pain in the ass. So.
All right. Well, to everyone that's still around, thank you guys. Thank you for watching, for all the comments and stuff. For our very, very regular viewers that still watch every single time, thank you guys. Give us some comments. Give us some topics. Give us feedback on what we've talked about. All of that sort of stuff. Go check out Adam's page, ARTIZOR. He does games and stuff like that. So thanks, guys. Bye.
I love you.